It's called Advanced Answering Techniques. So it is three professional people explaining to other people how to answer different questions, a multiple variety of questions. Advanced Answering Techniques.
Hello and welcome to Advanced Answering Techniques. I'm one of your co-hosts. My name is Josh. This is a podcast where we take listener questions and answer them in definitive, ironclad, irrefutable ways. We're recording today on St. Paddy's Day, which I view, and I think we all do, as a method of control, trying to reform our notions of the Irish, to bring them into some kind of alignment with some nefarious kind of attitude. Guys, there's a knock on your door. Officer Mulcahy. From the look on his face, you already know what's up. He takes a little box out of his pocket and holds it out. You make this expression where you're grimacing and showing a lot of teeth and like sucking in through your teeth. Do you know what that, you guys know what that expression is? Kind of like it's the expression you use when you kick a basketball and it hits an 18-month-old child in the head. You apologize as you take the box from the officer. You're saying something like, "Oh, officer, I'm so sorry. I can't believe it happened again." Even though his people are a sad parody of humanity, you perceive a glimmer of feeling leaking out of his addled Irish mind. Something along the lines of hoping against hope. In other words, he's kind of like, he sees you doing this, and he's like, I hope I don't have to do this again. But you can see there's a real despair kind of accompanying that as well. He knows he's going to be here in the same situation again in the future. You open the box, and it contains your oldest child. She's been messing around with the shrink ray again. Your daughter and her friends get in a lot of trouble playing with the shrink ray. Sometimes they get one normal-sized friend to go to a movie, and then they ride in the friend's shirt pocket, and they watch the movie for almost free because they have to pay the normal-sized person's ticket. So it's not free. But one of the worst things they do is go to the park and hide inside acorns and scare the squirrels. And the squirrels become very nervous, and it really reduces the quality of life for the squirrels. And the cops in your town, right or wrong, see their primary duty as protecting the delicate emotional state of the squirrels. This is a sort of being in the wrong place at the wrong time kind of situation for your daughter. In a lot of places, scaring the squirrels not be a big deal, but in this particular town, it's taken very seriously. Officer Mulcahy manages barely to slur his way through a description of your daughter's behavior. He says your daughter and her friends scared 30 squirrels at the park within an hour. There's never been such a high density of nervous squirrels at the park. You have a last resort punishment that you've been saving, but this time you feel you have no choice. What is the punishment, Caleb?
The punishment is going to be to get the enlargement ray, use it on my daughter, get her back to normal size, and then make her really big. And then she has to go gather nuts for the squirrels.
You're going to bring her back to normal size.
Yeah.
And then you're going to put her to work gathering acorns.
Bring her back to normal size. Give her a talking to, because it's annoying to have to do that if she's so small.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And I don't, so bring her back to normal size first. Then make her huge, which she hates. That's a punishment in and of itself, but then I'm going to have her help the
It's not
squirrels.
just to be normal size, but to be extra big. That's no thanks.
She hates
She likes
that.
being small.
Loves it. Being huge is,
Yeah.
she doesn't like that as much, which is, good in some ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, then she's going to be gathering up nuts and tucking them into the squirrel nests. And I don't know, maybe I'll add this on that she has to do something else to comfort the squirrels, something of her own devising to show that she's changed.
Yeah. To really show that she's not just going through the motions of putting nuts into squirrel nests.
Yeah. Or I don't
she
know.
Really reads it.
I guess they don't put them
It's
into
from
their
the heart.
nests.
Yeah,
they
they
put
don't.
them.
They don't.
They put them somewhere else. She's
Yeah.
gonna help the squirrels hide the nuts, I guess. So,
Gabe.
Well, because I'm a lot smarter than Caleb, I know that the shrink ray has an enlarge function. So I just use the shrink ray to enlarge an acorn, and then make my daughter, after I've made her
Right.
normal size.
Yeah.
I'm going to make her live inside the acorn. And you know, sort of a, oh, you think you like being inside acorns?
It's kind. It's kind of a kid is you catch him smoking and you're like smoke the whole pack.
right.
yeah.
Yeah. So now you have to live in an acorn that's normal size, and you're normal size. I think that will be effective.
And so and part of what I'm getting there too is that like Caleb's daughter, your daughter also really likes being small and doesn't like being
Right.
even normal size.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm smarter than Caleb, but I'm not quite as much of a disciplinarian. So I'm not going to make her big because she likes to be small or normal sized.
Yeah. And I think that's true. That's true for basically all women.
I agree.
They always want to be smaller than they are.
They seem to want to be small.
I mean, can I defend my intelligence a little bit?
I mean, I'd say you're well within your rights.
Attempt to?
Yeah.
Sure, give it a shot.
I'd say that, I mean, our ray, the rays are different. Yours is just, is it enlarging, or is it just to return
Size
to normal
ray.
size?
Size ray.
Okay, so you have a different ray than Josh even mentioned. Okay.
I did say it's a shrink ray.
Yeah.
But
But if it can shrink, isn't it? You know, it's like a vacuum that can suck in and blow out,
Yeah.
like a shop vac.
like a shop vac.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like a shop vac. Okay. Because, I mean, I understand being able to, it makes sense to be able to, like, for the shrink ray to be able to return someone to the previous size.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But then getting them even bigger.
Right.
It's the same principle.
It is the same. I mean, I think we all understand that it is a similar principle, but there's still various, appliances that function on the same principle that don't do the reverse of the thing that they're intended
mine
to do.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's fine.
Like
I think maybe Gabe just initially shelled out for
I just got
the better version.
How is this not me being smarter?
It would be kind of cool. I'm gonna just give up on defending my intelligence, and because I'm interested in this idea.
That's maybe demonstrating a
It tracks.
problem with your intelligence.
Could be.
That tracks.
But it would be cool if you could put a batter into a KitchenAid and turn it on, and then end up with whole eggs and dry flour, and if you like made a mistake.
Yep.
Yeah.
That should be a thing where we should be looking into that.
Another thing that we need to be looking into is today's question. This question is coming to us from one of the big three.
Josh,
What's up?
I had some corrections from the previous episode that I wanted to.
We don't have time to do corrections. If we're going to start correcting our episodes, we're gonna have a real problem. This is going to be most of an episode.
Okay,
I
fine,
don't-
Caleb, you're smart.
I don't look.
Fine.
No, this isn't me being smart. It's just me being conscientious, and I don't want false narratives. I don't want us to be the seed of false narratives. So
You're saying misinformation is a problem.
yeah,
It kills.
Misinformation kills.
yeah.
Okay, that's fine. We can do that.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Joy can wait.
There's two corrections. The first one is
This was last week.
last week's episode on presidents.
Yeah.
I said it was the wrong president. I think I said it was McKinley.
This was
You
the
did,
president that
that died a month into his presidency, but it was not.
It was not McKinley. It was not
McKinley. It was William Henry Harrison.
William Henry.
And now
Harrison.
this is a short account of what happened to William Henry Harrison. This is from Wikipedia, which we know does change things to enrage conservatives. So I don't know. I'm just going with it. Right. He was part of the Whig Party, so
I guess now that we're open to corrections, we could maybe we'll get corrected even further.
Who knows? We might be open.
Our correction might be corrected.
Could be.
Whig Party, is that like RuPaul's Drag Race?
No. It's got an
Okay,
H.
thank you.
Harrison had been physically worn down by many persistent office seekers and a demanding social schedule. Further, Harrison disregarded the late winter conditions by choosing not to wear extra clothing on several occasions, putting his immune system at risk. Following Harrison's 2-hour-long inaugural address in the rain on March 4th, in which he decided not to wear a hat or coat, 3 weeks later, on Wednesday, March 24th, 1841, Harrison took his daily morning walk to local markets, again without a hat or a coat. Despite being caught in a sudden rainstorm, he did not change his wet clothes upon return to the White House. On Friday, March 26, Harrison became ill with cold-like symptoms and sent for his doctor, Thomas Miller. The next day, the doctor was called again and arrived to find Harrison in bed with a severe chill after taking another early morning walk. At 4 a.m. Sunday, March 28th, Harrison developed severe pain in the side, and the doctor initiated bloodletting. The procedure was terminated when there was a drop in his pulse rate. The doctor then gave him castor oil and medicines to induce vomiting and diagnosed him with pneumonia in the right lung. A team of doctors was called on Monday, March 29th, and they confirmed right lower lobe pneumonia. Harrison was then administered laudanum, opium, and camphor, along with wine and brandy. No official announcements were made concerning Harrison's illness, which fueled public speculation and concern the longer he remained out of public view. Washington Society had noticed his uncharacteristic absence from church on Sunday. A Washington paper reported on Thursday, April 1st, that Harrison's health was decidedly better. In fact, Harrison's condition had seriously weakened, and cabinet members and family were summoned to the White House. His wife, Anna, had remained in Ohio due to her own illness. In the evening of Saturday, April 3rd, Harrison developed severe diarrhea and became delirious. And at 8:30 p.m., he uttered his last words to his attending doctor, assumed to be for Vice President John Tyler. "Sir, I wish you to understand the true principles of the government. I wish them carried out. I ask nothing more." Harrison died at 12:30 a.m. on April 4th, 1841, Palm Sunday, 9 days after becoming ill, and exactly 1 month after taking the oath of office. He was the first president to die in office.
Incredible.
It's a sad story.
It is.
There's a part of me that when I hear that that little tidbit about him having what was it, debilitating diarrhea?
No, severe diarrhea, and he became delirious.
There's a moment where you hear that detail and you think, oh, that's kind of rude to put that in there. But then you, with everything that's come before it, you're kind of like, he is asking for this, right? Like, like this is not a smart man.
Part of the reason it happened is because he was older when he was running, and people thought that he wasn't up to it, and so he was like making a point, by being like, "Look at me," but he died from it.
Yeah, it does seem like you can see a little bit there how somebody like that would become president, though.
Yeah.
He does have sort of a single-minded, pursuit of a goal.
Yes.
And the grit to really go for it.
Yep. So there's another correction.
Okay.
We said that it was Garfield who got stuck in the bathtub.
Yes, there were a couple. I think we said Garfield, and I thought maybe Chester A. Arthur, but it was neither of them.
It's neither. They're big guys, but
Yeah.
Taft is the biggest, and that's who it is.
Taft.
So this is from Snopes, which we can't exactly trust. But I figure that they're that
Sort
this
of
is old enough,
disinterested,
that we're just looking at real stuff here.
Yeah.
Legend has it that Taft, who weighed over 300 pounds during his presidency, once got so stuck in the White House bathtub that it took 6 people to pull him out. Yes, 6. But the reality is that this likely never happened.
I thought they were going to say it only took 4.
Perusing newspapers for reports of the event might feel a bit foolish. The most powerful man in America getting stuck in the White House bathtub would likely not be publicized. Yet, there are many articles mentioning Taft and his bathtub. But for another reason. It was custom built just for him, and it was absolutely massive. At a 2009 exhibit at the National Archives, simply called Big, featured a replica of a 7-foot, 1-inch long tub built specifically for Taft. This particular tub was built and used on the USS North Carolina when Taft took a trip to Panama to visit the construction of the Panama Canal. And may have been the one installed in the White House. However, it wasn't the only one made for him. The Hotel Taft in New Haven, Connecticut installed an 8-foot-long bathtub for Taft's suite during his professorship at Yale after his presidency. It seems unlikely then that Taft would get stuck in one of his custom tubs. The story has been traced back to Ike Hoover, the White House's chief usher at the time. In his 1934 memoir, he mentioned it once. When Taft came to the White House, a large tub had to be placed in his bathroom since the one already there was not big enough. The president would stick in it while bathing and had to be helped out each time. And while Hoover perhaps had no reason to lie, his memoir is the only known first-hand account. Historians have placed large question marks next to the bathtub story because everything else suggests otherwise. As a consolation prize, we can share this different bathtub escapade involving Taft. In 1915, Taft took a bath at a hotel in Cape May, New Jersey. The tub overflowed with water dripping through the floor into the dining room below. A plumber was summoned to Taft's room to investigate and found the former president napping, unaware of the flooded bathroom floor.
Okay. So they're saying, no, he probably didn't get stuck in a tub. But he did have 2 custom-made bathtubs made for him.
Right.
So my question is, why did he become aware that these custom bathtubs are necessary unless he first got stuck in the regular-sized tub?
One other detail is that the tub that was made for him custom after was bigger.
Yeah.
It was 8
that's
feet
true.
versus 7.1 feet.
Yeah.
7 feet 1 inches. So maybe that speaks to the idea that 7 feet wasn't actually big enough for him.
Think about
Sorry,
that.
I know that adds on, but they seemed pertinent, and
it's important for our listeners to really view us as a source of solid information, of good information that they can use. That could be why we've kind of seen a little bit of, I don't want to say decline, but fewer people listening to the podcast.
Why?
It's just that maybe we haven't been issuing corrections.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe they feel that they can't trust the information that they're getting here.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's important that, I think that's true. It's important to maintain that.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that rather than say decline, you feel better saying fewer people listening to the podcast.
Well, people know what decline is immediately.
Yeah.
And saying fewer people are listening doesn't seem as negative.
So
it's like the podcast is in a state of decline.
Yeah, we're still doing great. Just people aren't really listening.
That's true. If you say decline, it could imply like a broad decline in quality, and therefore the listenership is down. But
to be completely honest, I feel that the podcast has only gotten better and better.
Yeah.
That we're doing our best work now.
For sure.
Yeah, and that
It is.
of itself is also troubling.
It's frustrating.
That
This is the best we can do.
we seem to be doing better and better week by week in terms of what we're putting out.
And still, it's just this.
Yeah.
People would prefer us to not do so well.
Yeah.
It's probably true.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is. It's spite.
I'm sorry.
No,
I have
no.
another thing.
Oh.
Okay.
Is this another correction?
No, this is some found. So we talked about a funny old president last week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which reminded me of this old recording that I'd found a long time ago about who's this like folk musician who'd written these different songs, and I happen to have one of these recordings of this guy, and he'd written a song called "Funny Old President."
Really?
Yes.
This is a no-brainer.
Okay, you ready to hear it?
Perfect for Caleb.
Let's take it easy on me. Okay, I should mention he recorded this at a institution for unstable children, so you might hear some yelling and screaming in the background.
Makes sense.
Hello? Yes? You want me to sing my song? Okay. You ready? Are you sure? Sing it now? All right. Funny old president, funny old president, funny old president, funny old president. Who's the funny old president? All right. Now you want me to sing my second song? Okay. This instant? Right now, you say? All right. Old moon, old moon, old moon up in the sky. When we gonna get a brand new moon? And just a note about that last song, I don't mean a new moon, like when it's lit up, or I mean a whole different moon. And now you want me to sing my third song? Is that right? Right now you say, okay. Dog on the paddleboard, dog on the paddleboard, dog on the paddleboard, dog on the paddleboard, dog on the paddleboard. What else is that dog being on? Thank you.
So
Yeah.
there are three distinct songs.
Yeah, I guess.
That share
Yeah.
a melody.
No, I don't know. You have to ask him, but he seemed to think they were different songs. Yeah.
Because it just sounds to me like they could be three verses in the same song.
Yeah.
And, admittedly, it would be very difficult to thread those together in any coherent manner. But
Yeah. I mean, he was very clear about that they were definitely different songs.
Yeah. Well, they do have totally different subjects.
was he paid hourly also? Because he really seemed to take as much time as possible in the lead up to the song to really make sure. I mean, he's very thoughtful, very considerate.
And it did seem like maybe there was something else going on, or like the person that was asking him to record the songs wasn't making eye contact or wasn't being clear in some way. Like
the notes on it are scant.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seemed like he maybe just didn't understand how recording worked, or I don't know.
Needed a lot of assurance that this was the right time.
Yeah, maybe he had sung a song at the wrong time before.
Yes.
And paid mightily right.
Yeah, that
right.
could be true. Yeah.
Could be something like that. Well, what a gem, huh? That's Smithsonian
Great.
Folkways.
I mean, I think it should be on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really understand why it's not in there with that stuff.
Right. I think it was recorded by Alan Lomax's little brother, Jerry Lomax.
I don't know. All I have is I just have the recording.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Fascinating.
Thanks for sharing.
I think
you're
that's
welcome.
that kind of information is the kind of thing that'll put us back on top as far as
Yeah,
our
I hope.
listenership and dredging up important details from the past,
Yeah.
presenting truthful information. It's all to the good.
I
So,
mean, I just felt bad. I feel like I hadn't prepared stuff in a while, so it's when it rains,
Just
it
a
pours.
dump. Yeah.
it's time to move on to our question of the day. This is a question from one of the big three, Joy.
Hello. We've got some. I've kind of got some big life changes are coming up in our family. I've got some kind of exciting news. We've got a baby, another Samson baby coming in September, and it's great. Well, I've been very sick and pretty sick, and there's a mutiny going on. My kids are taking control, and I need to get it back. I need to get control back because they're out of control, and I'm too tired to care at the moment. And they've been watching way too much TV. They've been watching way too much Avengers, and I'm so sick of superheroes. But they love it. I am currently hiding right now from my kids. And they found me.
This is a diaper. Where is a diaper? It can stick.
Okay.
See a diaper. It's a
My question is, what are healthy ways to get control back of your children?
Joy, well, first of all, big congratulations.
Big, huge.
Absolutely.
From the
Please.
podcast. We're sorry to hear that Joy's been sick and that her family's falling apart, but we're also glad to hear that there's going to be more Samsons.
Yeah. More of them to fall apart.
Right. More family to just disintegrate.
Right. I think we have each of us kind of been there to an extent. These kinds of disruptions in a family's life cause instability, and there's an ebb and flow at times to the amount of control that the parents might be able to actually exercise over their children. So that's a real thing. It's just that in the life of a family there's movement there in the amount of control that you might feel that you have. So I think we've all been there. And what do you guys think? What do you feel like are effective tools for regaining control over your family?
Well,
Once the lead has played out, how do you reel it back in?
sometimes it says that sometimes God's punishment to us is giving us over to our sin. And then we want to go. And then once we find sometimes
Yeah,
we want to come back
right.
after we've been given over to our sin. So maybe play the God card and let your kids just do whatever for a time until they want to come back to order and structure.
So this is a little bit on the order of the smoking a whole pack of cigarettes kind of thing, right? That's what you like.
Yep.
You like living in chaos. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have at it. Enjoy the chaos. And then perhaps, maybe, there'll be a light at the end of the tunnel. Children will turn and see that light,
Yeah, there is a risk that it never happens.
that it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
They just find that they love the chaos.
They love the chaos. And I mean, I think are you talking about a specific area of family life that you would relinquish this control, or just all aspects?
Kind of all aspects.
Okay, so like right off the top, it's like grocery shopping. I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah, I'm shopping for me
I'm
and
shopping
Dad.
for me and Dad. You guys have to figure it out. because I think that might be
It's pretty big.
pretty quick.
Yeah.
That's also getting into some kind of tricky areas.
Yeah, she did say healthy.
She
said
said healthy, and
Oh, she did say healthy?
I
Okay,
was
never mind.
so irritated when she
Yeah.
said healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I rescind my suggestion.
Because
you should feed your children. It's true.
it is really hard for me to think about good answers that are also healthy.
Yeah. Yes.
Answers.
Yeah. Well, so Gabe, that was my suggestion.
Right.
So but I'll let you rescind my suggestion.
No. I'll rescind my my increasing of the severity.
of my suggestion.
suggestion.
Okay. And
Right.
I'll rescind my suggestion too.
Okay, so what's your new suggestion?
Uniforms.
I don't get
uniforms.
it. I don't. Okay, we wear uniforms. I rescind that suggestion. I just didn't get to rescind the last one, so
Oh.
I'm just going to immediately rescind your uniform.
Okay,
suggestion.
no uniforms.
What are the
I
uniforms
wanted to
do?
have a chance to rescind the suggestion.
What do the uniforms do?
Give order, visual order.
You know that feeling of like when you put on the clothes, if you've
Yes.
ever been in a play or something,
Mm-hmm.
once you get the costume
Now.
on, now you can truly be, waiter number 4.
Butler.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unnamed butler.
Unnamed butler.
Why did they bother saying he's unnamed? I guess because there is a named butler.
Right. Yeah.
Yep, you've got to make that distinction.
And he's named butler.
Yeah, and I mean, I was thinking of something even just like color-coded uniforms for the children. The kids that have been behaving well get to wear the best color. So and it's about the previous day.
Right.
So if you see your brother wearing the green uniform, you
Right.
know he's in a better.
That's-
He's higher up.
Yeah.
In mom's estimation today.
Yeah. And you should do a little work to make sure that the color that you choose to be the best color is actually the best color.
Yeah.
Green.
Green.
That's I think important, and it's the right kind of green. Because maybe you
It's
could
St.
have
Patrick's Day.
Yeah, for St. Patrick's Day, we're recording this on St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day is sort of a tool of Irish oppression, is kind of a psyop to make us all like Irish people
Right.
and their drunken behavior and things like that. But this is but there are other greens that are not as pleasing as sort of the typical St. Patrick's Day green.
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying? Is that
Just
that's the
less
St. Patrick's
exciting.
Day green is the best color?
Yes. Which that could be an effect of the psyop. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, that could be I've just been seeing that green and getting excited for my day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh boy. If I'm not wearing green,
Right.
bad things will happen to me.
Yeah. Do you guys, I know that we don't have time for this. Do you guys, I was thinking this morning, what a huge incentive and disincentive pinching and being pinched was
Yeah.
as a child. The idea that I needed to be vigilant to discover people to pinch, that was a very great joy to me. It was so motivating.
Yeah, and Caleb is insinuating that I'm not
That
wearing
you're not
green.
wearing green. It does seem
Yeah.
like you're not wearing green.
Yeah. Josh
that's-
is actually wearing green.
And
I'm
that's
wearing
fine.
green.
I did wear a green jacket.
It's
Okay.
got a green
To
jacket.
here.
That is,
And I would argue that this is
I was gonna
a
say
blue-green.
it's a
It's
greenish.
It's a
shirt.
blue-green.
But I think that's still it's green. You have to wear
Yeah.
green.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I'll accept a brotherly pinch.
Okay. I get to choose where though.
That and then I get to choose how hard.
Okay. I'm choosing here.
Medium.
Okay.
Medium hard. Missed. It
Oh.
It was a valiant effort.
was a torso pinch for the record. It was well outside of the no-no zone.
Yeah.
But as far as healthy options, we have seen a lot of pretty decent science that consuming fluoride actually does lead to people being more docile, more suggestible, and more easily controlled.
This is really good, Gabe.
We've
I'm glad
seen
you're bringing
this,
up.
but also those same people that are saying it makes you more docile and everything, they have also discovered that it's actually very healthy for you to have the fluoride. No trick. That's what we've seen. So I would say just increase your child if you have a fluoride filter on your water system or something like that, whatever.
Yeah.
Remove it.
Yeah.
And then maybe even go as far to get more fluoride.
You could even, if you haven't been filtering out that fluoride, I bet you have a lot of extra fluoride that you could just harvest.
But and make sure that you are decreasing your fluoride consumption, because you need to be moving to the top of the
aggression
pyramid.
pie.
Right. Like you need to be at the top of your game.
Yeah, fluoride's in toothpaste, fluoride's in mouthwash.
Yep.
You could, and so like that's only one opportunity to get more fluoride in your kids.
Yeah.
The water's another opportunity, but you could make meals. Fluoride soup.
Integrated into your cooking more.
Yeah.
I like Caleb's. Caleb's is not as integrated. Just make fluoride soup. Heat up some mouthwash and toothpaste.
That's fluoride.
That's fluoride.
Yeah.
That's fluoride soup. I mean, sorry.
It's a soup.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you heat up the mouthwash, and that's fluoride soup, and you serve it, and your kid takes a bite, a sip of soup, a bite of soup, and then goes, ooh, too spicy, and you go, oh, let me cool that down for you, and then you put some toothpaste in it, like it's sort of a sour cream effect.
Yep.
In the soup.
It's called Cool Mint.
It's neutralizing the capsaicin or whatever the equivalent in fluoride soup
alcohol. It's alcohol.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that could be a good option, good healthy option.
That's a good healthy option.
Oh, put some carrots in there too. Who cares?
Yeah, carrots aren't going to lessen the amount of it's less room. It is less room for more fluoride.
It's true, but you could even put carrots in, soak it up, take the carrots out, and now you have fluoride carrots.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I did want to say that that if you are worried, if you do some research on fluoride and you're worried about how it's connected to lower IQ levels, just don't worry about that.
What do you want? Do you want children who are both out of control and intelligent?
Yeah, that's
no. They would be really dumb and docile.
But that's what I'm saying.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
You want energetic, smart children?
No, thank you.
That's hard. That's hard.
If that's hard, it's also
It's so much work.
it's a lot. It's hard to do. It's hard to deal with. It's and it's also on the kind of further end of the spectrum. There, you have examples like, say, the Joker, as somebody who is very smart.
Josh.
And
never mind. Sorry.
What's up?
Well, I was going to say, Joy said that she's tired of superheroes, but I remembered he's a supervillain. Continue.
He's a supervillain. Yep. I know that Joy, but maybe since Joy's kind of swimming in a certain amount of superhero soup, that she is. Maybe it'll resonate with her, kind of the Joker thing.
Superhero soup.
But you were saying that you had an idea about Joker.
Well, I just think that that's that's the kind of thing that you don't want to end up in that situation. That's something like fluoride soup will help to protect you from producing a Joker.
Maybe make more of a Bane.
He's pretty aggressive.
He's chemically augmented, though. That is part of his thing, at least in the animated series.
That's true. Maybe like a less with a small Bane.
Honestly, what we want is our kids to be like Commissioner Gordon.
True.
It's kind of helpful. Yeah. They send up the bat signal and you come help them out.
Yeah.
Or a named butler.
That's true.
Alfred.
Unnamed
Alfred.
a named butler.
A named
Yes.
butler, Alfred. Right.
Yes.
We could name him. You
Yeah.
change all your kids.
You can-
You could name all your kids Alfred.
Or just kind of, things that are a couple degrees different, like Albert.
Yeah.
You could have an Alfred and an Albert.
Alfred.
And an Alberta
There you go.
for some of the girl ones. I think parents cannot let children control them. This is so important to just not let that break down. You can't let the kids run the house, because that would be like, what if the lunatics were running the asylum? And
Wow, Josh,
so here's my question.
That's a super good point, and
Mhm.
okay,
No, go ahead.
I've never heard that. But
The letting the lunatics run the asylum?
right.
Yeah.
Is bad.
That's bad.
Oh, okay.
I think it's bad. That's what the phrase is for, because that raises the question, well, who should be running the asylum? And I think the answer to that can only be mental health professionals. And that's important because Joy said that these should be healthy suggestions.
True.
So what do mental health professionals do? Well, their tools, the things that they use are drugs and like electroshock and padded cells, putting people in straitjackets.
Yes. Clothing, which we mentioned, you could adopt that. Swing that in there.
A certain kind of clothing.
Right.
Yeah.
The uniform is straitjackets.
Different colored straitjackets.
Different colored straitjackets. Loose fitting, sort of nothing with like a string.
Yeah,
things
no.
that tear easily. No shoelaces.
No,
that kind
no.
Anyway, though I just, as far as healthy answers go,
Yeah.
I just thought that would be maybe a good direction.
I think
that
that's
is
great.
helpful.
Combine it all.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we've
Yeah.
got children, different colored straitjackets,
Yeah.
eating or drinking, imbibing.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
What do we call it?
It was called
Ingesting.
fluoride soup.
Fluoride soup.
I can't believe I forgot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so that's, I mean, if you find that fluoride soup is taking too long, there are other things you can add to fluoride soup to
Yeah.
beef it up a little bit, so to speak.
Oh yeah, beef.
No, I wasn't thinking beef.
Oh, okay.
No.
Beef, carrots.
Yeah.
Listerine.
I was thinking, beef, carrots, Listerine, and then I think to make it maybe a little more effective, you would add Thorazine, Valium, some
Oh yeah, yeah. That way they're
Lexapro.
not aware of the drugs they're taking.
Wellbutrin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have a poem. Should we read that?
let's hear it.
Let's hear it.
Or I'll just read it. You guys don't want to read it with me.
We can if you need us to.
I don't think so, actually. This one's called Control Your Kid. Gather 3 lengths of twine. Jute's okay, hemp will do. Sisal is rigid best. Pick up kid by hands. Take 3 lengths of twine. Tie 2 lengths to kid wrists, and lucky 3rd length loops through the tag on the back of their collared rugby shirt. 3rd length continues to front door. Run 3rd length out to pond. Attach hook to length. Add worm to hook, wriggling. Plop hook in pond, patience. Kid will follow you to pond, eventually will find you, and ask about wrist twine, silence. Fish bite worm on hook, pull 3rd twine length, catch fish gut, clean salt, pepper, lemon juice, cook, serve, cut, bite. Wrist twine distracts and confuses, necessary. Just had fresh fish dinner with kid, not too bad.
It's the kind of poem that makes you really draw a diagram in your head.
It does. and then you go back and you try to use your eraser to go, I think that part of the diagram was wrong. I think I did the wrong thing for that diagram.
Yeah,
It's supposed to be a journey.
I love that.
Yeah, I
Thank
did
you.
too.
Thank
I mean,
you.
It sounded to me like ultimately you were using your child's activity in order, like you're using it for good. You're using it in order to catch
Healthy.
fish.
Catch fish.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, a kid's running around with the twine tied to their back.
Yeah.
And the line is mimicking the way
Right.
a insect or bug or worm in this case
Yeah.
would wriggle in water.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's useful.
So
but
I thought that's
Yes.
I think that's really brilliant. It's people say that, I think it was Auden said poetry accomplishes nothing, or maybe it was T.S. Eliot, or it could have been Robert Frost. He said poetry accomplishes nothing.
and that's true about this poem.
Well, I was going to say
Oh,
that
is
it's
there
so
more?
that it seems very practical.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
I was actually, this poem to me is a refutation of one of the greatest
Take
poetic
that.
minds, whoever it might have been.
Take
Yeah,
that, Robert
yeah.
Frost, T.S. Eliot, or who's Whitman?
W.H. Auden.
Auden. Take that.
Yeah. Eat that. This was really reminding me so much of one of our brothers, Dillinger. Sometimes, parents struggle to find the right set of incentives that matter to a particular child. You're dealing with your various children, but you feel like nothing that I use on these other kids is really working on this kid. And I felt like with Dillinger, that's part of what was
kind of
going
broke the mold in a
Absolutely.
lot of ways.
Yeah. So he grew up very out of control to the point that now his wife, Asma, has to use one of those harnesses with a leash just to keep him from running into the street whenever they're out and about.
Right.
And that's really is kind of a word of caution to parents that just think about your child's eventual spouse.
Yeah.
And the trials that they might have to suffer and go through.
Yeah, there's a lot of just this week it seems like there's just a lot of very practical clothing. A lot of kind of this restrictive clothing. Well, I'd say useful clothing.
Useful, yeah, very practical clothing. Yeah.
So that's what I had to say.
Yeah, watch out for it, I guess.
Mm.
If you're in a place where you're starting to think I need to my children's lifestyle means that I have to go buy all new clothes, and it's not like back to school or something.
Right.
That means that you're on the precipice.
Yeah.
If you're like, I need special equipment for these kids.
He's getting back to the sidewalk clothes.
Right. Stay on the sidewalk clothes. Target doesn't do a stay on the sidewalk sale.
No. Yeah, no, that stuff is all anytime you're getting into those kinds of additional pieces of clothing, that's expensive.
Yeah.
And the more that you have to do that, the greater expense you're going to incur. And as a growing family, you just don't have that luxury.
No,
Right.
you don't. So better just get a big kennel and put your kids in.
That's
Kennel.
That is, I think, where we're ultimately going to land up on this.
I
mean, it's probably the best option.
What does that fit in the
Healthy? Lots of sunlight.
category?
I don't know
sunlight.
if you've been paying attention to a certain Dr. Huberman, but it really is important to first thing in the morning,
Get a lot of
and even
sunlight.
in the evening.
Yeah.
A second dose of
First thing
sunlight.
in the evening.
First thing in the evening.
Yeah.
What's that threshold?
You have to really be paying attention to exactly when it becomes evening, and then that's when you need to get a huge mega dose of sunlight.
And then what if you can't find a kennel big enough
Yeah.
for all your kids? What could you do then?
You get a second story.
A two-story
A
kennel?
two-story kennel. Again, it runs into money at a certain point, doesn't it?
But you
It
already
does.
have a shrink ray, so
It
just
does.
shrink them.
Well,
That's
that's
true.
sure. Caleb has that option.
Yeah.
You have that option, but not
Yeah,
everybody
Joy doesn't
has
maybe
shrink ray money.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard.
I have a poem. This is called Awkward Silence. Everyone in the parenting conference got really quiet after Luke asked how often it was okay to shoot at your children, even if it was just to scare them and you weren't actually trying to shoot them. It was how he was raised, and look at him. He was wearing a little cell phone case on his belt. Thank you. Again, sometimes I think poetry is very practical and helpful.
Yeah, yes.
And
Yes.
was the cell phone case, was there a phone in it, or he just had a case on his belt?
Was he reading off his question?
he was reading his question off of his phone. But then, yeah, it wasn't there. Did I make it sound like there was only one cell phone case on his phone, on his belt?
I was wondering if he happened to like at first pull out a handgun and try to read the poem off.
Oh,
that.
I see. Yeah.
And oh
yeah.
no,
Yeah.
other one.
Yep.
My question is Sig Sauer. Wait, no.
9
Oh
millimeter.
no.
Yeah, and I mean that's just that person is just totally messed up, you know, like you know, and that's just what you don't want to avoid messing up your kids as a parent. But this guy's operating under the assumption, even the way he phrased the question, is he's assuming that some amount of firing
that it's a question of frequency, not whether or not. Not whether, but which.
Yes.
Yeah, that at some point he would be firing his gun at his children so often that they would not even just doing it at all, but doing it so much that they'd be like, yeah, I don't know, I had a really rough childhood. My dad shot his gun at us a lot. I know. A little bit, and I don't think it would have been a problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I guess good on him that he's looking for guidance on that, and he's willing to humble himself.
He's trying to do better. He's at the parenting conference.
And like maybe
I'm glad there was an awkward silence. Honestly. Yeah.
Right. If that I was contemplating that, like, what if maybe the person leading the parenting conference had an answer to that,
was the awkward silence because like he stood up and asked that question and everyone in the crowd
was like
stared intently at the speaker, all expecting an answer because they're like,
finally somebody's asking this question.
Or perhaps they were silent because they were like, isn't it obvious that it's 4 times a day?
This guy doesn't even know how many times is okay.
Oh my goodness.
It's embarrassing.
Is there a remedial breakout session in this parenting conference?
Thanks so much for listening to Advanced Answering Techniques. You can have your questions treated this way if you'd like. You can send them to advancedansweringtechniques@gmail.com. We're looking for an audio file about a minute in length. Guys, is there anything else here right at the end that we need to deal with, or do you feel like we've answered Joy's question pretty definitively?
I just want to say that I'm sorry to Caleb for rubbing my intelligence in your face. I didn't mean it to be that way.
Smells good.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. Sorry. Bye.